Well, good day, Tubes. How's she hanging? I gotta adjust you. Pretty good here. So today is question and answer number 12. I can't believe we've done a dozen of these already. You guys are asking a lot of good questions. So I just had one come in, so I got a whole bunch of them here. And now, there's some questions, or some that are coming in that really aren't questions. So those I'm not reading on the videos here, just so you know. So if you don't actually ask me a question, I'm not going to read it. Just so you know. But anyways, if you do send me one, but thank you. So anyways, we've got from October 5th here. So we're going back a little bit because we're at the, what are we at now? 18th, so I'm a little bit behind. But you hear my furnace going in the background. She's cold enough now. Need to have the furnace going. Kind of sucks, but anyways, good test for the new insulation and see how well it keeps up. I got, well, hang on a second. I can't remember what I set it at now. I got it set at, about 18 or so, which is what, Fahrenheit. I'm gonna ask Siri. Hey Siri, what is 18 degrees Celsius to Fahrenheit?
18 degrees Celsius is 64.4 degrees Fahrenheit.
There you go. That'll keep the chill off. That's t-shirt working weather. Thank you, Siri. Anyway, so the first one, October 5th. This is a question from the leaf trailer video that we just put up not too long ago. It's the only leaf trailer. It says, this is from AJ as well. It says, hey Bill, it's AJ from the last Q&A with the Graveleys. Remember you had all the Graveleys? Just wanted to tell you that the hose from the vacuum to the trailer is tight when I installed it there because you have the trailer connected to the 3-point hitch instead of the tractor. When you built the trailer, you had it connected to the tractor, not to the 3-point hitch. Which, yes, that makes sense. That it's coming from the vacuum system through the ROPS thing and then up to the trailer. So yes, if it's hooked to the tractor, it's definitely going to be shorter. I found with that though two problems. Turning wasn't so great, as in the tongue of the trailer would hit the tire sooner, and the hose, actually I could shorten the hose, but the hose had a little bit of a dip to it too, then it kind of didn't sort of work too good. So I put it on that guy there on the 3-point hitch, and then I can actually right turn. I can turn so tight with it actually that the tire on the trailer starts to actually go backwards. That's how tight I'm turning. The other way to the left I can turn good. To the right I can't turn super good because of the hose and the vacuum stuff's all there. But to the left is pretty awesome. I can pretty much be looking right at the thing as I'm turning. It's pretty awesome. So he says, just want to tell you, I watched every leaf collection mode in video and noticed this. So yes, you are right, but I found it a little better performance, we'll say, running it from 3-point ball hitch. So thank you, sir, if you noticed that. That's good. And thank you for your question. Next one here is from Brian. If you guys send me questions for, say, the next video, if you don't mind, of course, include your name and kind of where you're from. Not exactly maybe the town, but you know, I'm from Iowa, or I'm from Tennessee or something. Let me know kind of where you're from. It'd be kind of cool to see where everybody's from. Says, so this is from Brian. Says, hey Bill, long time viewer. Hope you and your family are doing well. So far so good. Hopefully you guys are all good too. This COVID's ramping up again though. It's getting bad. Ottawa here is like really bad. Apparently down in Toronto, Peel region, and all this stuff down below me here is like really bad. So far, Dufferin County here, we're not bad, but oh boy, it's not going to take long to get bad. People just need to stay home. It's so bad that they've closed the gyms down there. So like the workout gyms, you know, working out gyms, and they've closed them down there, so they're all coming up here now. It's like, oh great, thanks for bringing that to us. I really appreciate that. Anyways, so he says, currently a second-year aircraft maintenance engineer student at Centennial College in Toronto. There you go, in Toronto. You guys are getting yourself sick down there. But that's okay. He says, but he's from Oshawa, so that's sort of fairly close to each other there, kind of technically, yeah. It's interesting to see how there really isn't much of a difference between aircraft engines on a small plane and a tractor engine. Pretty well not, you know, just more precision I guess I'm gonna maybe say on an aircraft engine, more, I know there's a lot more wire tie stuff, so bolts don't unloosen while you're, you know, blah, 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 1,000 feet in the air, because that's bad. Anyways, so yeah. He says, my question is, what is the plan for the 2N over the winter? Thanks to keep up the great videos. Well, we of course got our Tor right apart now. I've got a Sherman transmission on my counter here that I don't think we're going to use again. So I'll just give you a little super, what do you call it, not super, future video update here. The next video is going to come out. So the Sherman, I'm going to probably rebuild it if I can find parts. Very, very hard to find parts for these, and very expensive if you can. I could buy a whole new Sherman transmission, or rebuilt for it, I guess, from down in the States. I found a website that had them. It was $910, I think it was, plus of course shipping. I'm like, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. That's really expensive. So what we did is that, if you guys remember a while ago there, I did a video on tractor scrapyard that we went to. Contacted him, and he had the original transmission input shaft assembly, of course that he pulled from a tractor, that we're going to use, I think. So got to do a bit of work on it, though. It's not brand new. I'll show you here, though. I'll grab it here. It's heavy. So this is actually was from a Ford 9N, and that's the gear, of course, that goes in through, and then that's your pilot bearing shaft there. And then this is the one that goes into the clutch and stuff, right? And then this little collar here is where your throwout bearing sits on, which we gotta clean up and take apart. I haven't replaced this bearing yet. Don't drop her, bud. Jeez. And, oh, there goes the throwout bearing. Anyways, I dropped something. So inside here is a bearing, of course, too. And it's actually in really good shape. I've kind of cleaned it up a bit, and I don't think I'm gonna replace it because it's pretty good. I just have to clean up the race inside here. Let's just pull this all apart here for a second. I gotta clean up this, and I'm getting all greasy. I gotta clean up the race inside here a little bit. I think it'll be probably all right. It looks bad there, I know, but a little bit of elbow grease won't be bad. But you can see inside there's a seal. That really needs to be replaced, so I gotta get that out. Put a new seal in it. So, because if you don't put the new seal in it, I'm gonna have the exact same problem that this thing's doing now. It's gonna leak all over the place. It's gonna come through. It's gonna come through. So this would be the wets. Let's go this way. This is the big tires back here. This is the wet side and the transmission. And hang on. Let's put this guy back in together here. So this goes through where that Sherman mounted, pardon me. I gotta take the plate off the Sherman first, and then this mounts to where it was before. And then this gear meshes inside. So this will get lubed from the hydraulic on this side to where the seal is here. Now that seal's bad, it's gonna leak through here and then drip out, and then same deal, right? So anyways, that's getting a bit away from the question, but so the 2N over the winter, I'm gonna have it all back together by then, and over the winter I'm gonna do the fuel tank on it. It's the same place I got that output shaft there. I got a fuel tank cleaning and restoration sealing kit from the same guy there. So that'd be a job we'll have to do, and I'll probably have to leave the heat on here for a while so it doesn't get too cold. It's actually getting nice in here now. Still cold at the floor. I gotta figure out why the floor just won't heat up. Probably because I didn't insulate the floor, but anyways. So yeah, that's sort of the idea. Get the clutch rebuilt and cleaned up and rebuilt, and get this new shaft rebuilt and put in. I'm gonna probably paint the housing up too, even though you'll never see it again. It'll be in there, but it's, you know, might as well clean it up while it's out. And I gotta clean up the surface that this guy slides on. Is a bit rusty, so I gotta, hopefully that's still all right. I think it's all right. And yeah, so a little bit of fun. So hopefully that answers your question. But fuel tank, yeah, that's gonna be probably the winter project for that. What did I do there? Okay, so thanks Brian for sending it in. Hopefully I answered your question. Next one is from Jacob. There, he says, I'm from Alma, Michigan. That's what I want to see, is where you guys are all from. That's kind of cool. If you ever go here again, I will be here forever. Alma, Michigan. I don't know if I've ever been to Alma. I've been to Michigan briefly, not very long. Ohio more. So yeah, Michigan. Love your videos, and why haven't we seen any Peanut anymore? So Peanut, of course, if you don't know, is my daughter. She never really had any interest in being in any of my videos. I mean, she's been in a few of them. Now she's like older, like adult. She's like 18 years old now, so she's got like no interest at all now in doing stuff with Dad anymore. We'll say, you know, not as much as she used to, kind of thing. But so I don't know. She's never really wanted to be in them, so I never really kind of asked her if she wanted to be in any of them. That's the thing. So, and even Dylan, he's the same way. You know, he's rather just go and do his own stuff, and I don't want to hang around with Dad anymore. It's kind of sad, but anyways. So hopefully that answers your question. Thank you, sir. Chevy Man. He says, hi Bill, this is Tyler. The question I have for you is, how old are you? That's a personal question. I'm really old. No, how old are you, and how old is your family? So, you know, my daughter's 18, Dylan's 16. Forgot. I think I'll be 43 this year. And my wife's like a year younger than me, so yeah. And he asks me about stickers. So right now the COVID's getting kind of ramped up. I'm not really doing any extra going where I don't have to kind of thing. So I won't probably be sending stickers until it kind of settles down again, just so you know. So thank you, Tyler. Hopefully that answers your question. And yeah, you guys tell me where you guys are from. So the next one's from Austin. And Austin Zeman, and he says, what is your favorite ATV? Well, you know what, I can't really say. Well, I've got the Polaris Sportsman, of course, and it's pretty good. And the one thing I don't like about it, though, is the way they've got their suspension set up, kind of mounted to the trailer hitch, the way it is. If you put a trailer on, you're riding, like, we'll say this is the ATV, okay? So I put a trailer on the back here. And as soon as you give it gas, it kind of goes like this, blah, and it's really weird. It's like, it really sucks to the ground, the rear to the ground. So it's like, I don't know, it's like you're hooked to a tree and it says wanting to wheelie. It doesn't wheelie, but it just kind of, I don't know, I never liked that. But the suspension is really nice for everyday riding because it's got, you know, it's like you're floating on a cloud, and it's all the independent suspension. And my friend there, he's got the, and if you look way back into my channel, there's some really old videos of us ATVing across the river here. He's got a John Deere Trail Buck, one of the old Trail Bucks, and it's a good machine. It's got piles of power, but it's got the solid axle, so every time you hit something, it's kind of, you know, flipping you a bit, right? And I like mine with the mushy. You could kind of do this, or his would, you know, you hit something this side, and it's bucking you off kind of thing. Trail Buck, right? Bucks you off. So, I don't know. I've never really tried anything else, but you know, it's a reliability thing again. I don't really care what it is I'm riding, as long as it's reliable, not costing you a pile of money. That's my concern, is if it's starting to cost you money, then it's not a good machine. So anyways, thank you, Austin. Hopefully that answers your question. But I've been happy with my Polaris, but actually that might be a winter project too, if I can somehow get it in here. I got to figure out what's going on with the fuel tank and the sending unit. It's working fine, except the fuel gauge is always reading empty, and I probably have to replace the whole tank. It comes with the sending. I don't know. I've never priced anything for it. It's going to be probably expensive. Another thing I got to do is pull that whole front thing off again. I think I've done it once, maybe on a video. Pull the whole front thing off to get into the radiator and clean the radiator out, because it's running again too long with the fan going. It should only be like 30 seconds. It runs for like 4 minutes, 5 minutes. So there's something clogging the radiator and it's not cooling the way it should. So a couple things I got to do to that. But yeah, but the fuel thing though is weird, because I had it, I guess, sitting at like, for like a year, never used it, sitting at like a half a tank of fuel. Went and filled it up, and I'm like, it's still showing like it's empty almost. I'm like, well, that's weird. And it never came back. So I don't know what happened there, but I guess if you're storing it, fill it right up. But maybe it would stick on full, but probably got dried out, and I don't know, maybe the connections are bad. I don't know, I don't know what's in there. So I don't even know if it's serviceable until they get it out. So, but anyways, next one is from Smith. That's a cool first name. I know a lot of people with the last name Smith, but not the first name. So He says, would you ever consider getting a project car like another... Okay, his question's a little odd here. Project car. Oh, I think he says like another Jeep or like a muscle car. No, I don't think so. I'd really want to have an actual garage, I think, to put something like that in. Container, yes and no. You can put it in that, I guess, but no, I got enough junk now. I don't need anything else going on right now, so I don't have room for the stuff I got. Anyways, these tractors, I don't know, these tractors just keep following me home. I show up somewhere and all of a sudden I look behind, I'm like, there's another tractor behind me. I don't know where it came from, but it's on the trailer. So, you know, anyways. So let's see here. And if you bought a zero turn for your job, I don't really understand this part of your question there, bud. If you use a zero turn for your job, and then he goes, you could use Boris or the 2N for trailers, and a 110 for the wood chipper, and fabricate a snowplow for the front. Hope you're staying safe. So I don't really understand kind of the rest of your question there. But I can answer, no, I would never use Boris on a trailer, as in pulling like the dirt trailer. He's more meant for pulling like floats, like my big flat deck trailer for like a parade float or something, right? I wouldn't probably ever use it for pulling like work, we'll say, for like, you know, what I do back here, digging, and I wouldn't use it for that. It doesn't have, and it wouldn't work for plowing either because it doesn't have a governor on it. So you'd be constantly up and down with the throttle trying to get it in the right spot. You can't just kind of leave it in one spot and it'll kind of keep the governor, you know, going at the one spot all the time, right? So it wouldn't be good for that. And the way, and I'll have to show you sometime when we get it out here, the way he's got that radiator in there, which is good, it's a really good fit in there, it fits under the hood, and it was from a David Brown tractor, that old radiator that he's got in there. The outlets come like just above where like the axle pivots there, so if you, let's think here now, the axle's this way, so yeah, the hose would be like this way. Let me see, what do we got here that looks like a hose? I'll have to use that, but anyways, so that's the hose. So if you go on too much of an angle, it actually will push and kind of rip on that hose a little bit. So he says, don't take it on anything like that. So I'm like, okay. So the 110 for the wood chipper would be pretty good, I think. I have had it on, now we've got a PTO on the front of the backhoe, or just behind the loader bucket for the snowblower. And I did hook it to that once, but it jumped and bounced around because it wasn't really hooked to anything, and it unhooked itself. It just pulled the shafts apart and then unspun itself. So I'd have to take the backhoe off, and I'd have to probably take that. There's a big drop down 90-degree, what do you call that? Mounts into the rear PTO, and then it drops down. It drops. It runs another drive shaft to the front of the hookup of the drive shaft. So I'd have to probably take all that off, put on the 3-point hitch arms, which for the 110 TLB are like absolutely impossible anywhere to find anywhere on the planet now. You can't find them anywhere. Nobody has them. I got one. I got it just in time. And hook it on that way. That would probably work. But that's a lot of work taking all that parts off, backhoe off, that whole, I think, well, yeah, I would have to. I would have to take that, what do you call it? It's like a drop, it drops down to the other shaft to the front. You'd have to take that off because you have to use that shaft for the blower, or for the chipper, so yeah, you'd have to take that off. So, I'd have to have a lot of chipping to do to run that thing, I think, but I don't know. Fabricate a snowplow for the front. Now, I do have a snowplow for the 110 TLB. There's a lot of videos on my channel of using that. For anything else though, I've got the other equipment. I probably wouldn't fabricate a plow for the front of like the 2N or for Boris, or I wouldn't use Boris for that anyways. I don't really take them out when it's sandy or salty or snowy, right? I have once, and it was kind of a mistake because it's got so much rip in it, you just barely touch the throttle and you're like, and it's spinning all over the place. It was actually kind of fun, but it was freaking scary. That hooks up and then flips over. Holy crap, look out. So hopefully, oh, it's finally turning off. Let's see how long it stays cool and or nice and warm in here for now. This insulation we sprayed. Still really cool at the ground though. It's probably a lot cooler down there. There's a lot of heat up top here though. I can really feel it, so I need to get a fan maybe to blow it around. But anyways, thank you, sir. I better get through some of these here. The next one is from Rich. It says, Bill, I've been a fan for a few years now. I love to watch when you're doing projects, but I've noticed the difference in views when you do your sims. Oh, big time. There's a lot of people, I guess, that I've attracted to the channel from doing the repairing stuff or welding stuff that really don't care for the video stuff. But I mean, that's the way it is. I like playing video games too, so I post some of that too, you know, and I haven't been doing quite so much lately, but a few Rust videos here and there, and farm sim, of course. You guys seem to be enjoying the farm sim still, but eventually that's gonna have to come to an end, unfortunately. What else is there? I put in a little bit of fishing the Barents Sea, and then we just started with fishing the North Atlantic. It's pretty good. You know, bit of this, bit of that, a little bit for everything. Some people like some videos, some don't, right? So you can't please everybody, but trying to give everybody a little bit of something that they might like. So, video game views drop way down. So make more project videos. Well, you know, I can only do so many project videos at one time too, right? So, but I do agree with you, and there's something going on my channel. I don't really know what it is, but it's not getting really any bigger like some of the other ones. Like, I don't know, maybe I'm just not putting up good enough content. I don't know. I'm only putting up what I can put up, you know. I can't pull great content out of my butt and make it like perfect or something, you know. I mean, I'm doing what I can do with what I got. So, but anyways, trying my best. Still trying my best. So thanks, Rich. Hopefully that answers your question. Next one here is from Heiko. He's sent me a few questions here. Heiko from Florida. See, he told me where he was. Could you do a video of your steam train? I think I know what you mean. I've got one of those, what's it? I can't remember who made it now, but it's one of those ones where you put the little square blocks of fuel in, light it on fire, and then put it in it, you know, does it, and it runs up. I should get that out and do a video, but I don't know if I've got any fuel pucks left. I might have to cheat and use like my propane torch or something, heat it up, make some steam. That'd be kind of cool, actually. I haven't done that for a long time. Should get that thing out. Good idea, Heiko. I like that idea. Now he says, I remember the video of the man lift that you had in your yard cutting the trees. That thing was so freaking scary. I'm not scared of heights usually, but that, when you're up there and the wind blows and you're like, whoa, geez. He says, I remember the rental excavator video as well. That was a good one. That's basically what spawned me to get my own little mini X, which I think there's a question coming up with that soon. So yeah, that was, I'm like, ooh, this is pretty darn handy. I almost need one of these. So that was one of those things. Same thing with the Ford F-150. When we went to visit my sister, we flew in and I rented a, it was just supposed to be a half-ton truck that was listed as or something like that. I'm like, okay. Ended up being one of the EcoBoosts F-150s, and I'm like, this is a really nice truck. I'm gonna see if I can find one of these when I get home. So that's when I got the red one. That cost me a pile of money too. But anyways, timing chains, we'll say. So yeah, but that's sort of what spawned getting the excavator. So thank you, sir, for sending that in. Hopefully that answers your question. Next one is from Travis. He says, hey Bill and family, hope everyone is staying safe and healthy. We are good here. Hopefully you are too. I like your videos. They are awesome. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you. Try my best. I know you're a jack of all trades. Well, a master of none. Jack of all, but not a master of none. Do you have any favorite projects that you have built? That's a really good question. You know that? What is a project that we've built that I really enjoyed? I really actually liked making the excavator buckets. That was fun. And basically doing them without plans, just putting her together. And you know what? They've all worked great. I still use the one on the Mini X for the small digging stuff. And boy, we've got that 12-inch, basically this little bit bigger. Well, actually, no, there's another one too. I got lots of buckets for that, but they've all worked good. And I do use them all. The big one I made, like it was a 47-inch. I don't generally use it too much. It's good for if you're scraping a big area, but it holds so much that if you scooped in it and you tried to turn, it would actually tilt you because it has so much weight in it. It doesn't have enough counterweight to hold all that. So I generally just use that if I'm kind of level in an area. It works pretty good. Gravel or something, you can smooth it out real nice. It's nice and wide, right? So yeah, the buckets were fun. I'm trying to think of some of the other videos we've done now. Oh, ding ding. That's the dinner bell. That's what that was. What else? Now, are you referring to maybe like stuff we built project-wise or stuff we've repaired like tractor-wise? Because there's different things there too. I actually enjoy working on that big AR, even though it's such a brute. But I think any of the buckets that I made, they were fun. They were fun. They were the good old days, you know, plasma cutting it and fitting and grinding and welding stuff together and drilling holes for the pins and stuff. That was awesome. And then the actual trying it, holy freaking crap, it actually worked. That's like the best thing ever. So anyways, yeah, so hopefully that answers that question. So he has a bit more here. If so, what did you enjoy most about building it and where did the ideas come from? Oh, there you go. Mostly answered that. Ideas for the buckets actually just came from because I'm like, oh, well, I could use a bucket that's this wide. I could use a bucket that's maybe this wide. Oh, I could use like a ripper tooth, so we made that. I didn't make the thumb on that. I made the thumb on the 110 TLB. That was a pretty good project too. Actually, you know what? The trailer projects were good too, though. I'm still using all them. That little green dump trailer, man, that'll never fall apart, that thing. Holy cow. I think the tires will be rotting off it before there's any problem with the metalwork on it. It's way too heavy, but anyways. Actually, a guy the other day stopped me and says, where did you get that trailer? John Deere don't build nothing like that. I'm like, no, they sure don't. I said, I built that, and I built the box for the leaves, and I even put the stickers on it. I even made them. He's like, wow, that's really awesome. You did really good at them. I'm like, I got a hair in my mouth. I got to build what I need, right? So that's what I did. Built what I needed. I haven't done any buckets because I really don't need any more buckets for that thing, right? I would like to build a new 36-inch bucket for another one like I've got already on it for the backhoe, but I just haven't tackled that project. That's a big one. That's a big project. That's a lot of cutting. I don't even know if I'd have enough material for that. But anyways, hopefully that answers your question. Thank you, sir, for sending that. Next one is from Harry Stevenson. Is there a tractor you would replace the Ford 2N with? Yeah, one that's not all falling apart. That's needing every frickin' piece replaced on it. Holy jumping. What would I replace it with? Probably a bigger one like the like an 800 or something. It's a little bit bigger than the Jubilee even. I think it's the 800. Or something like that. I don't know. It all depends what you're using it for, right? Like I'm pulling a two for a plow with that mostly in like one plow day. That's really all that tractor's for. I mean, I might use it if all of a sudden like the little green tractor is broken down or something like that and it won't pull my dump trailer. Then I got a spare trailer that I could pull it with. I could technically pull that big dump trailer with the AR because the trailer's got its own separate you know, dumping thing, right? Be slow as dirt, moving dirt, but slow as dirt. That's, you know, works both ways. But it's kind of nice having a backup kind of thing. So I probably would use the 2N kind of thing if need be. I'll hook my little 3-point hitch lift bracket thing with the hitch on it, and then, you know, it'd work good. Oh, come back on. Well, it wasn't as good as I thought it would have been, but it's cooled off pretty good in here now, so it's, you know, it's leaking a bit somewhere, I guess. It needs more insulation, but anyways. So, can you choose any tractor? The only tractor I wouldn't choose is a New Holland. I'll tell you that right now. They are not as good as they used to be, that's for sure. Probably if I was actually going to replace the 2N with something. Okay, I'm done with this tractor, let's get rid of it, blah, blah, blah. I'd probably get something Kubota, honestly. So, yeah. But anyways, thank you, sir. Thanks, Harry, for sending that. Oh, she's firing up. It's not really that cold out. It's only about 5 degrees out, so you need more insulation in here. I think it needs another shot of it. But anyways, the next one is from Jamie Meek. Been talking to him a bit on Facebook. It says, hi Bill, it's Jamie. Me and my wife Melanie have a question for you for the Q&A. Well, you got the right spot, bud. Sweet. My question is, the Ford F-250 that you have now, does it seem to be a better truck than the others that you've had in the past? Absolutely better. I've been really happy with this. It's been really, really good. It did something kind of weird the other day though. I was getting down to like about a quarter tank left of the DEF fluid. So I'm like, okay, I got a jug of it ready to put in whenever. And I hadn't put it in yet. And then the next drive I went, all of a sudden it's like up to a half. Well, that's weird. It was down to like a quarter left. Now it's up like a half a tank. What's up with that? So I went, kept driving it, and it's kind of come down to the quarter again. So I'm like, I don't know. Maybe it was reading wrong before. Maybe it's reading wrong now. I don't know. Just a little quirk thing, I guess. But everything else has been perfect with it. So it pulls like a mule, that thing. Holy cow! Pulled that travel trailer. Didn't even hardly know it was there. Couldn't believe it. Big difference. Major difference. And then, so that's his question, Jamie's question. Melanie's question is, and that's his wife, is, are you going to make any more candle making videos? I haven't got any new molds. They're getting kind of expensive, the molds, to get them in for the different stuff. I'd love to get, and I can't seem to find the right stuff to make my own molds. Like this, and they're, well, yeah, that's not true. I can find them, but they're wicked expensive. So you're almost better just to find the mold and just buy the mold. But I like to make my own molds. I love to make a mold. I don't know if it worked well, of the skull that's made in China. It's not a real one. It's not a real one. It looks pretty real though. But no, this is a fake one. But I like to do that. But the silicone kits are really expensive. So you got to get the right thing. Like that wouldn't probably mold too good because all the holes in it in the cavity, right? Like you'd have to mold something that's more solid, like if you wanted a candle to be like this stuff, you could mold that pretty good because there's no real cavities for the stuff to sink into, right? So yeah, maybe through the winter we might do some more. Just you know, I got a whole bunch there already that I haven't really done anything with, so I'm gonna end up probably just burning them all myself because I don't really want to send in the mail because I don't know what the mail will do to them. They might get too hot somewhere. They might melt into the bottom of the, you know, the box kind of thing. So I really don't want to mail anything. But yeah, at time my wife will put stuff for local pickup on Facebook or whatever, right? So she says, if so, I'd love to watch you make some. I've been thinking about making candles of my own, but I just don't know how to start making them. Well, you got to get some wax to start with. You need to get one of the little hot plates, I guess you call them, with the little burner on it like I've got, and a pot that you don't mind using that you'll never want to use again for anything else because it'll pretty much wreck it with the wax in it. Then you got to find some wax. Of course, that's usually the kind of really expensive part. I get stuff that's kind of not 100% purified, so then it's a bit cheaper. It was about 10 bucks a pound up here though when I got it. That was enough. But fairly good stuff. And then you need some molds and some wick. And you can get, probably at the craft store, you can get the wick and the wicking needle you need too. I made one out of a piece of wire. Just put a little wee tiny, like a fence wire piece, put a little wee tiny curl on the bottom, and then that's where you snap your wick into, and then stuff it up through your mold. Some little wooden dowels on the top, tie it to that and pull it down tight, pour the wax in. That's actually your bottom of the top. So yeah, the bottom of the mold is usually the top of the candle. It's usually always upside down. So that's basically all you need, and that's all I've done. Anyways, works good. Any tips for me to start out making them? I'd really appreciate it. Well, there you go. And there's a PS here from Jamie. It's Jamie again. Hopefully you got that Ford 2 and back together again. Not quite, bud. Soon, hopefully before the weather breaks. But I actually got my little electric heater here. I think I could probably put it in there to heat it up a little bit if I had to, close the door. Not all the way, but a little bit. Close the door and then run it off the generator here. I think it'd be all right. So let's turn it off again. Sweet. So thank you, folks. Hopefully that answers your questions. But yeah, you'll be into a bit of expense getting all your equipment to start for those candles, but then the molds are the expensive ones. But You could just get like the little cups and suspend the wick in there and then pour the wax in the cup and then just burn it right out of the cup too, right? You could do that as well. All right, next question. I better get through these. We got quite a few left here. This is from Ethan. Will you play Truck Sim again? I haven't really been on Truck Sim a whole lot lately, but yeah, I want to do another meetup kind of thing, meet and greet on the Truck Sim. That was fun. I enjoyed that. A lot of people showed up to that, so but I'll give lots of notice if we're going to do something like that again. So I've been on a couple times just on myself, just messing around, and that was pretty good. They've got some different loads and stuff now too you can take in there. Different trailers. So hopefully that answers your question. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Next one is from Brandon. He says, I recently purchased a Ferguson TEA20 and in need of a right front hub and bearing set. I was wondering if any Ford models would have the same hub. Ooh. Hard to say. You'd have to look at the parts numbers and the specs on them, the sizes of them and stuff. We've actually discovered that the Ford Jubilee has a spindle on the one side that's from a Jubilee, and the other side's from a 600 or 800 or something like that. They are different. He went to get bearings for it. He's like, why is this one so much different? And I looked it up. I'm like, well, that's for a, I can't remember what it was now, an 800 or something. It's like, oh crap, really? So someone's changed that through the time, and way she works, right? So, I have been unlucky on the searches online. If you'd happen to know where I could get one. Thanks, Brandon. So the only ones I know is Steiner Tractor, of course. Steiner Tractor. Fix That Ford. I don't know if they'll have that part there though. Or you can try to contact Steve from Ontario Used Tractors is where I got this input shaft here for this tractor. He's got all kinds of stuff there. He does have a website, and it doesn't really show parts or anything there, so you're best to give him an email or call him. Email is probably better sometimes. Like we were there picking these up the other day, the phone rang like 3 times, he never answered it. So I'm like, really? You don't answer your phone? But you're probably better to send him an email. He'll get back to you on that. So his name's Steve though, Ontario Used Tractor Parts. If he doesn't have it, I'd be quite surprised. He's got everything there. But you'll want to know maybe a year or 2 on that if you can get him a year as well. So try that though. Try them guys. They're pretty good. They'll ship it to you too. They'll ship into the States. It might cost you a bit, but you'll get it if he's got it. So hopefully that answers your question. Thank you, sir. Next one is from Brian. Brian Playfair. And it says, hey Bill, it's Brian, and I'm from Fort St. James, BC. Been watching you for 6 years now. Holy cow, that's a lot of watching. I was just wondering when you're going to do more of, oh, the wax question, more wax question. Well, hopefully that answers your question from before. And also I have decided what to do with the old shed foundation. I love the videos, keep it up. I've got some of it filled back in with some new cement. The stuff that needed replaced. I got a little bit more to do. I don't know if I'll get to it now this year, but I'm going to keep it for working on. Works pretty good, you know. Instead of laying on the gravel out here, I can, you know, do the oil changes there and stuff, and I think it'll work actually pretty good. 0 turn stuff. The Mini X will maybe, unless it's raining, we'll bring it in here or whatever, but we'll, yeah, keep it for working on. It's going to put another building on it. I'm like, nah, just leave it like that. It's not hurting nothing there, so. The cement on this side, closer to this building, isn't the greatest, but I mean, it'll be all right, I think. And he says, I love the videos, keep it up. Thank you, sir. I will do. I will do. Next one is from Ethan. He says, hey Bill, it's Ethan. I'm from Vermont. Oh, see, he told me where he is from. Sweet. My question is, do you own the Mini X or does the cemetery own it? So I think we already answered that too. It's funny, we're getting questions that answer each other. Yes, I own the Mini X. It is mine. 100,000,000%. I bought it basically for, it seems funny, but I bought it for the job here, for me. Because, you know, digging cremation holes, I dug like hundreds of them. And I had enough of that digging through the rock, so I got this thing, and it gives them a bit more room in the hole too. And, you know, and then we built that little trailer that it sits on and takes the dirt away too, and that was a good build actually too from the other question. That was a good build too. That worked really good. Yeah, so I own that. I own all the buckets that go with it, and you know, all the accessories we made for it. So yeah, hopefully that answers your question. Thank you, sir. So the next one's from Braden. I think he sent me a few questions before too. Could you build a weight? It doesn't. Oh, a weight for the backhoe so you could unload pallets. I see what you mean. A weight for the backhoe so you could unload pallets without tipping it forward. Actually, you know what? That tractor with the pallet forks on it will not lift enough weight to tip it forward. Believe it or not. It'll only lift off the ground to the pivot point, so where it comes and the load is like right to where the pins are level. It will lift 4,000 pounds. So it's not a whole lot for sort of a bigger tractor. It's not a whole lot. And I've lifted, I think, more than that. I lifted well, it was a skid off of a truck when we got salt that one year on the skid. I lifted up and I could just barely get it off his deck, and I had to like, and I come off the truck. I'm like, well, what's going to happen here when it comes off the truck? I'm like, it's going to go like this. It held it. Then I slowly put it down to the ground, but I couldn't pick it up again. No, it would not pick it up. So it was more than 4,000 pounds. I was surprised. I got it up enough where I could just maneuver it around, and then. But I've got the rear tires loaded in that. They're about, I want to say they're not quite 50% on each side. There's a lot of air gap in those tires, so it would have taken a lot more windshield washer antifreeze, which I loaded them with. I used windshield washer antifreeze, works good, it's cheaper, and it doesn't rot the rims out. So it's right in there, right against the painted rims. Never had a problem. So windshield washer antifreeze is good. So that definitely helps, and I noticed putting the weight in the tires like that helped with the loader work too. When you're pushing into a pile, it would not just sort of spin, it would actually dig in and push, right? So put a bit of weight into it and it worked good. So yeah, but I never had a problem with it tipping ever. Never. Now if you had the backhoe attachment off, yes it would, because that adds probably another, I don't know, is it 1,800 pounds maybe for that? It's pretty heavy on the back. That backhoe attachment's pretty heavy. Maybe even 2,000 pounds. I don't know. It's pretty heavy. So thank you, sir. Hopefully that answers your question. We're down to the last two, I think, here. Next one's from Corey. He says, hi, Bill. Long time viewer. Keep up the awesome work. Just wondering what happened to the AR tractor. The AR has been stored in the other building down there all summer. I had it out once, I think, just to drive it around a bit and keep. Had a bit of trouble getting it going because I hadn't had it going for so while and getting the fluid flowing and stuff. But last winter it had its main tank and the little auxiliary tank cleaned and resealed, so it's all good because the big one was leaking. I found a few spots in there, had it right out all apart. Didn't do much videos on it because it was way down there, you know. And the clutch is rebuilt on it too now, so it pulls pretty good. Actually, believe it or not, I have pulled my dump trailer with that, and I went up the hill in that pine bush back there, and it ding, 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 all the way up, no problem. So it was no slipping, no nothing, so it's good now. And totally cleaned out that clutch and rebuilt everything. Repacked that bearing in there because John Deere wanted like $180 for that bearing that was in there. So I mean, it was still good shape. It was really, I'm surprised it was because it was so grossed up. But yes, we haven't even had it out because no shows this year, no tractor shows, no nothing. I'm hoping to get my tractor show going here soon, but this two ends taking longer to put together by the looks of things, so I might have to wait till next spring. I don't know, we'll see. But anyways, thank you, sir. Hopefully that answers your question, but I still do have it. I still have the AR. So I think actually that was the last question. Oh yeah, that was the last question. This is a you get all these stupid ad things. I'm like, yeah, no, don't think so. That was an ad one. So anyways, that is it. So let me just double check. We'll refresh here. Yeah, that's it. Okay, so if you want to send a question for the show, of course, send your name and where you're from, which is nice, so I know where you're from. And I don't need to know like your address, you know, and stuff like that, but you know what state you're from, even a school or province if you're from my area. BillQA@yahoo.com. It'll get the question here. That's in the description and in the title. So if you missed her, well, that's it. So, but anyways, that's it for today. Thanks again for watching. We'll catch you all later, and you guys have a good day.